Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we have a fun one for you as we are going to review the upcoming film Wonka. As always, I'm joined by my partner here, Mr. Don Fisher. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna have to start trying to lose these Thanksgiving pounds, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to join Dana White in that 86-hour fast and see if I can't shred something. Cause with Christmas coming, I just know it's gonna be another round of like I'm gonna gain 2 pounds in 2 hours.
So it's crazy to me how this happens every year, right? It's always like after Thanksgiving, I'm getting my life together. And then there's like 3 weeks later is Christmas, and there's all of this sweet and junk and all of these things, and it's like, just kidding. Like we did it. It didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. That just how it all plays out. And we'll talk real quick, guys. This is a pre-recorded episode of the show. We appreciate you guys checking out the show. It is a very, very busy time of the year for us. We're in and out of the movie theater quite a bit. It's kind of slow all during Thanksgiving, but still slow going into the theaters. But over the last few weeks, we're pumping out the last few movies that we can. Next week's episode should be a fun one. I think it's going to be December the 11th. I think that Saturday is a Sunday is. I think if my math, December 10th. Sorry, December 10th. The Critics' Choice Awards nominations are coming soon, but Dom and I were going to discuss our ballots before the nominations are announced because we'll have already turned our ballots in. So that should make for a very fun episode. We hope to have a episode covering The Color Purple for you guys very, very soon. We both saw that film and we both loved it quite a bit. We can't say too much about our love for it quite yet. We don't know when the full review embargo is, but our social media embargo is up and we both loved it quite a bit. I don't see how it moves from my top, 10 of the year. I really, really enjoyed that film quite a bit. So that being said, today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. We got just a short one for you, kind of. We're going to review Wonka. I'll let Dom kind of kick us off with the breakdown of Wonka.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right. No music for you guys. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, Wonka. And of course, with the synopsises, I go off whatever Google when I pull it up says, focusing on a young Willy Wonka and how he came to meet the Oompa-Loompas on one of his earliest adventures. And that's really selling it very short. But the film stars Timothee Chalamet, Hugh Grant, Rowan Atkins, Sally Hawkins. You have Olivia Colman, Matt Lucas, Keegan-Michael Key, and I don't know how to exactly say her name, but I'm gonna say Kayla Lane. I feel like that's what it is. She plays Noodle. But yeah, I just watched the film very recently, and look, man, I know when we did the trailer review, probably like 2 months ago, we were both kind of like not super sold on it. Because when we're used to seeing Chalamet on the big screen, it's always kind of this brooding, mysterious, dark, conflicted character. Now, when we see him on SNL, hilarious, funny guy. But it's just not what we're used to seeing his roles be. And I was pleasantly surprised. He definitely fell into this character in the best way possible without overselling it like we got with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was like, it was too much. I feel like this was that perfect balance of he's a weird guy, he's kooky, he's inventive, he has like a heart of gold, and pairing him with Kayla Lane and Noodle, I thought was great. Because you get this balance of trying to sell hope to someone who feels hopeless, but also chasing dreams at the same time. It's a musical, which if you didn't know, now you know. The songs are great, and it's good. It was really fun to see where some of the ideas and some of the song choices and some of the references leading up to what we get is Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory would come to be, because that's the one we remember. I even asked my wife, I said, "Do you remember Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?" And she was like, "Not really." I was like, "I don't think anybody does, because the first one is very superior, and this one is going to be over that second one." The performances are great, and what I love about a movie like this is when we get villains who are they're malicious, but they're not like this super dastardly, like they don't aggressively over the top. It's the ones that are like, how do they get away with this constantly in this small little town? And you you can easily hate them without walking out of the theater hating that actor that played that character. But no, I mean, it's a fun time. It's very heartwarming, it's very charming. Um, and I've been a fan of Chalamet, but I was like I said before, I was unsure if he was gonna be able to sell this. Because the one line that is kind of cringe to me was which is in the trailer when he says talking about how do you like your chocolate, dark, sweet, a little insane or something. I thought that was kind of cringy, but I was like, you know what, it still is, but it works. And that's the only line that kind of give me that feeling throughout the rest of the film, because you really want to root for this character. um and the Oompa Loompa story is changed a little bit because we know there's some context, some racial context from the book a long time ago, but they were able to change it in a way that it still holds true. And yeah, man, I'd have a hard time not liking this. I'd have a hard time really finding something to drag it down. I mean, with a story like this, that is going to have a little bit of not necessarily plot holes, but like unbelievabilities because of who it is. Um, but at the end of the day, everything that happens fits within the context of what Willy Wonka is supposed to be. And I think we spoke about a tiny bit before. I think this is gonna do big numbers when it comes out in December. What are your thoughts?
So look, I watched this trailer and we talked about it on the show, and I was wholeheartedly adamant this was going to be terrible. I have there's very few times that you walk into, and I walked into this with very little expectations, because first off, the trailer looked bad. I wasn't a big fan of that one guy's version of Wonka. And then dating back, the original version's fine. I'm not a big fan of the original that much. It's a good movie. It checks the boxes. Not my cup of tea. Musicals aren't always my cup of tea either. To be honest with you, I really enjoyed this movie. It's so much fun. Timothee Chalamet is somebody that I have consistently harped on not being something that I felt was like the next big thing, right? Obviously, huge fan of Bones and All, and I felt like that was the first performance. I was like, all right, I finally get it. Wonka, you have to have this larger than life personality and these characteristics to really buy and sell. You have to sell what Willy Wonka is selling in the movie, right? When he's selling his chocolate in the streets, you have to buy his whimsical, you know, even cheesy-ish kind of one-liners and mixed together poetic words that he throws together, and it's funny and charming, but he does it perfectly. Like, it's insane how it's crazy whenever you say somebody was like born to play a role, but Chalamet was born to play Wonka. He really was. Like, he does this character so much justice by being larger than life, being charismatic, being funny, being delightful, being charming, being the one-on-one banter, the you know, that banter that he gives back to people, the character Wonka gives back to people, it's spot on. He has chemistry with the Kalai Lane. Noodle is just brilliant. Love their chemistry. They're fantastic together. It's funny. It has some incredible either virtual, you know, FX or production design, and the costumes are really cool. Like, it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's everything that you would want from a Wonka film and more. And you're right, it has a level of cheese factory to it that I do think that plays to families really, and I think it will play to families very well. I was uncertain how I felt about how this film might do at the box office, but if families are willing to give it a chance, they should, because it really is pretty damn good. Like, it has a lot of different things that work, that maybe shouldn't, but I think a lot of it is solely because of Timothee Chalamet. Like, it's not perfect, it's not groundbreaking, it's not earth shattering, but it's a hell of a good time. I had fun with it. I laughed. There's some emotional beats that are really good, and I think that the fact that they relied on the emotional beats being within the Noodle character really enriched the film. There is some with Wonka. There is some emotional beats there with his character, but I feel like they allowed this to be a universal story with Noodle's storyline that I really, really liked. I love the utilization. There's a lot of issues with this Oompa-Loompa character, as Dom mentioned, and the way that they wrote the character and separated it and made this completely different character from what everybody's kind of used to, very well done as well. I think that that's going to take a notch off the belt of that criticism that I think a lot of people were already writing in their reviews before the film even came out. So they were very smart in not falling into the trap of potentially opening themselves up to any you know, hatred. To be honest with you, the character's not even like, I mean, I don't want to dive too deep, obviously, because the film's not out yet, but they're like Oompa-Loompas in the movie, but like not a lot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I really love the film. I thought it's so much fun. Like, it's just a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm 1000% convinced that Timothée Chalamet will be nominated for a Golden Globe in the musical comedy category. 1000%
Right.
now. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. The category is meant for him. Singing the song, it's crazy. Quite a few musicals in the last few weeks. 3 to be exact. Color Purple, Wonka, and Wish.
Yep.
And only one of those 3 is bad. I didn't hate any. I like the songs. It was fun. God, I hate saying as much as I am about this movie, but it's a lot of fun. Like, I really had a lot of fun with it.
And I really loved it's an origin story in many ways, whether it's about Wonka, whether it's about the Oompa Loompas, or his factory, or one of the most famous songs that he sings. We finally get to see what inspired it, and I loved that part of the film. And like you speaking about, like, the colors and everything, it really, anytime you see a project or something adapted from a Roald Dahl book, the color palette always has like a mixture of pastels and flat colors, and this was done perfectly, because the whole movie, I'm just looking at like, why did he pick that outfit? And something about it goes together so well. The iconic purple and the khaki and the green vest. I mean, everything works really well. Yeah, like you said, I mean, Chalamet, like, who knew that he could sing? Like, because I
Yeah.
didn't.
So isn't he like playing like Bob Dylan or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So like there was a lot of questions on can he actually sing, and I mean, that's not no Bob Dylan music.
Right,
But
right.
the thing about it is he actually has a voice.
Yep.
Is the point of it. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be a great Bob Dylan or anything like that. But what I'm saying is he can sing. So, I mean, that's a step in the right direction. So if he's willing to learn to be able to sing in a way that he did in this film, then I do believe that there's some viability in the idea that he could potentially do the same in that type of movie. But I don't know, man. I didn't expect to be here. Okay. I did it. I watched this movie. under the well, obviously it's award season. We try to get everything in all at one time, but my wife was very excited about this one. She loved the trailer.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so we sat down, watched it, loved it. Man, I loved it. I'm
and
just
and I think Olivia Colman has solidified that she can play literally any kind of character.
it doesn't matter
It
what it is.
doesn't matter what universe you put her in, what role you put her in. She's gonna knock it out of the park. And like I said, something about making a family movie and creating villains that we can all go, oh no, like you're bad, and what are you doing? Without having to do any over the top cussing or having to do anything super malicious or graphic is a feat in itself. And I think sometimes when you have um limitations, it makes you think outside the box. And some of these characters, you're like, y'all are some bad guys. Like, what is going on? Like, that is wild. And the way that they just shrug everything off is like, well, this is what I do.
Like
Um,
nothing happens. Like
and then
nothing.
Keegan Michael Key's progression through the film is hilarious. Like that guy, I mean, he's got to be
That was
top of
fun.
the top character actor.
That was fun. Like it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Just because like the even that yeah, leading up to the final scene is hilarious with his character. It's just it's a lot of fun. I really
Yeah.
really liked kind of what they did with that character there. So yeah. Wonka hits theaters on December 15th. I you know what? I would I did not see it in theaters. But I would recommend checking it out in theaters because I do think that the colors, the songs, I think
Yeah.
it plays I think it definitely I think it'll play out different with an audience too. I think it would be really
Oh,
good with
for
an
sure.
audience, especially some of the funnier moments in the movie. I
And
think some of the
I do say that because I believe there are more references in the film than I myself caught. You should watch the original film um first, just to so you can kind of catch, because there are some that I caught immediately, but I'm sure there's some references and Easter eggs that I didn't catch because I haven't seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory probably since I was in middle school.
say I haven't watched it in
So
forever. Yeah.
it's worth a watch beforehand.
Yeah, I totally agree. I sorry, there's like a weird sound in my ear right now going off because of something that I clicked on. But yeah, so it's definitely something I would recommend checking out in theaters. That being said, we are going to transition into some watch recommendations for you guys. Dom, what do you have for the audiences?
So for film, I have two. I'm a little older. One's from last year. One's from I think like 2016, 17. I recently watched something at Tiffany's or something from Tiffany's. They came out last December-ish. It's on Prime Video. It's got Zoe Deutsch. I don't know how you pronounce her last name. It's really good. It's a really little cute movie. The wife's it's Christmas time. She loves Christmas. So during this Thanksgiving break, I've tried to get in a few films that I need to watch, but we've also been watching hella Christmas movies. But then I also watched Sing Street, and that movie was really good. We had, Flora and Son is out this year, and I was trying to check out, some more of the director's work, watch Sing Street, and I was blown away, like how much I liked it. It's really good, like little rebel defiant type film for TV. Now, granted, both of these shows are newer. I have not finished them. I do have, I think, the episode, or one of them's readily available. The other one is coming out weekly, I believe. But Monarch Legacy of Monsters, before it dropped, I had watched like the first 4 episodes. I think it's fantastic. It takes place kind of like after the 2014 Gods of the film, and it kind of goes back between how Monarch started and then what's going on in 2015, which is the present day in that show. It was really good. And then I started to watch Scott Pilgrim Takes Off on Netflix. I'm about 2 episodes in. It's really fun. I mean, it kind of, you know, you think you're watching like an anime version of the film, and then it goes a completely different route. Took me by surprise. So I can't wait to finish it. But it looks, so far, it's really good. Hopefully, it ends just as good as it started.
Yeah, for me, I got two recommendations as well. The first of which, if you have the opportunity, it's playing in very, very, very select theaters. Anatomy of a Fall. I really, really think that this film is one of the better of 2023. I was a big fan of the performances here. Sanju Hooler in the lead role. It's a film about a woman who's suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the sole witness. The kid is played by Milo Machado Grainer. He gives one of the best supporting performances of the year. As of right now, we're talking about this. He is locked in into my 5 personal ranking wise. I think that he's very, very good. He delivers a monologue towards the end of the film that really kind of blew me away. But Sandra Hula is pretty fantastic. Anatomy of Fall, and like I said, in select theaters across the United States. If you have the opportunity to check it out, can't recommend it enough. Another show that I'm kind of liking, kind of not liking, but kind of like intrigued by, and that's A Murder at the End of the World. It's on FX right now. It's been one of those good episode, meh episode, good episode, meh episode things. Really digging it though in some aspects, and then other aspects I'm like, what are they doing here? I'll probably update you. This ends on 12/19, the last episode. It's weekly on FX right now. So for me, like as it goes by, I'm going to be intrigued if I continue to like it or not. But I think as it wraps up, because a lot of people like to binge. You know what I'm saying? Like I love to binge. I really prefer to binge versus having to watch it, weekly like this. But yeah, I like I said, it's hit or miss. It's got some decent stuff going on in it, so it's kept me interested enough to keep watching. So yeah, I mean it's not bad at all. All
Yeah, it
right.
looked really intriguing when I saw
Yeah,
the
it's
trailer for
it's
it.
yeah, it's kind of annoying because it's like I wish it was just bad. And then it was like the first episode was good, second episode was whatever, third episode was good again. And I'm like, are we gonna go back and forth? You know what I'm saying? So all right, before we wrap up, we like to leave both with some rankings. We're gonna do top 3 favorite cookies. In the spirit of sweets and Wonka, we figure we'll drop some favorite cookies. Dom, give me your 3, 2, 1 of cookies, man.
All right.
I'm ready
So
for this. I'll be honest with you. I'm very intrigued by your ranking here.
okay, and the third one, I feel like my third one is seems like it's because it's the holiday season, but I think it's just a great cookie. Number 3, I have gingerbread. I love gingerbread. Can't go wrong with it. Even the ones that are bagged up, frosted, fire. Number two and number 1 were really hard to go back and forth. But number 2, I have America's favorite cookie, Oreo. Can't go wrong. And I don't do the whole double stuffed, all that. I just need a regular classic Oreo and I'm good. And the sleeve is gone the first night. And then
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
number 1 is Snickerdoodle. It was very
Mm.
hard, but when they're warm and you get a good one from a good bakery or from somewhere where it's just soft, it's hard to beat a Snickerdoodle for me. It edged Oreo just a little bit because you can't have a warm Oreo, you just can't. But I can have cold or warm Snickerdoodles, and that's a win for me. So yeah, gingerbread, Oreo, Snickerdoodle.
So for a cookie, are you a soft cookie guy, like a softer cookie guy, or like a harder cookie? Like when
I
you cook them,
prefer a softer cookie.
yeah, like the little. It's like baked, but it's kind of like still a little bit gooey. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Three's Oreo cookie. I think it's to be honest with you, if you could have like a warm Oreo cookie or something, it would be weird, I think. But if you
probably.
could, I feel like it would be ranked higher just because it's like there's nothing better than a cookie right out the oven. Like there
Yeah.
just isn't. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't. I'll tell you what, this one is gonna like it's a shocker. The sugar cookie from Publix. It's a random cookie to say. It's a specific. I don't want sprinkles. First off, I don't want any frosting or
Right.
sprinkles on my fucking cookies, okay? Do not put those little frosted sugar cookies with the frosting on top. Those are disgusting. Like those are the world's worst those are like Peeps. They're terrible. Okay, they're just awful. Number one cookie, macadamia nut. Big macadamia nut cookie fan. Been a macadamia nut cookie fan for a long time. I love them a lot. I will say, like, you can't never go wrong with like a good chocolate chip. Or once upon a time, Subway. First off, Subway has like fucking fire cookies.
Yep.
But they had strawberry cheesecake cookies that were
I
really
remember
good.
those.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were so good. Man, it's crazy that Subway is like their cookies are just like it's fucking delicious, man.
They're like, oh, you want a cookie? Yes. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Like, don't y'all have like the 3 for $5, like whatever? Like, I don't want a cookie. Have you looked at me? But it is the holiday season. We are wrapping up. This has been fun. Actually, if you know, we've been doing this for a little while now. Hopefully, I think over the next course of the next couple months after this week, we will be pretty much live. We're gonna do a fun end of the year show. We're still trying to plan that out a little bit. Hopefully, you guys will join us in that. But we appreciate the support of watching the show.
For sure.
And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.